Yes, NTT Com Security is talking to quite a few of our PCI customers about version 3 and what are the changes there and how it impacts them. Some of the things that we've highlighted to them have included that they need to start to think about their BAU activities a lot more, so making sure that there's governance in there to sustain their PCI compliance. Equally, there's some simpler testing procedures that have been introduced with version 3, so that's going to make it a lot easier for clients to understand what is actually required. Some of the other key areas are around making sure that they understand the services that are provided to them by their service providers are clearly understood, and the demarcation between roles and responsibilities and which services are shared by the client, which services have responsibility for being delivered by the service provider. That's going to be quite key, and there's quite a strong requirement for making sure that service provider has almost a contractual requirement to make sure that they're maintaining any aspects that are applicable to them from a PCI compliance perspective. So that may require contract amendment, so that's not necessarily straightforward, so that could be a little bit tricky. A few other areas in terms of scope, so there's also a requirement to make sure that there's an accurate inventory of assets, hardware and software assets, and alongside that there's now a formal requirement for a data flow diagram that has always existed, but now there's a specific requirement for clients to formally document how cardholder data flows throughout that organisation, and that is helped to identify what the scope is of PCI DSS in that organisation. The final element is when pen testing is done, there's now a requirement also to test that the network segmentation is effective. So as part of any pen test that is done in that organisation as part of PCI DSS, that pen testing company will need to test the effectiveness of the network segregation. So that's about it. From my perspective, from a UK perspective, in terms of the maturity of PCI across the globe, I think the US market has been going there a lot longer, and hence is a lot more mature and known about by organisations in that part of the world. Certainly in the UK as well, it's getting quite a lot of high profile notice in the press about data breaches, and there's a desire by many companies to become PCI compliant or at least get ready for that. But in wider parts of Asia, it's not as well known, and so we're only starting to see some multinational companies become ready for compliance, but still a lot of the merchants that are more local to Asia just simply don't know about PCI compliance, so there's still quite a long way to go there.